and welcome back to Yoga with Rosie. So today's video is going to be an accessible chair yoga. We're going to do most of it sitting on a chair. Some of it will be standing at the very end. So hopefully you enjoy this class. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of my yoga classes on my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up and enjoy the class. So first things first, as I said, most of this is going to be on the chair, so you really want to make sure that your legs are at a nice 90-degree angle here. So you can either place blocks or books or blankets or anything underneath your feet if you need to, or underneath where you're sitting. Just make sure that your legs are kind of at an angle like that. You also want to make sure that you have a chair without arms on it because we're going to be moving around a little bit. Also make sure you have a chair without wheels. That would be great so that you stay in one place. And if you have a desk or a wall or something where you can place your chair against later on for the end of the sequence, that would be great as well. So we're going to start off with 3 breaths of joy. Now this is something that I learned very recently and it's one of my favourite things to do. So I'm going to talk you through it. What we do is get comfortable in your chair and we're going to inhale for 3 and then exhale. And it's just going to bring some energy into our bodies, wake us up a little bit, and it should be a really nice one to do. So inhale our arms up, inhale our arms out to the side, inhale arms up, and then exhale, fold down. Now obviously be careful not to fall off the chair, so you do want to make sure that you're nice and grounded, but this is a really great practice, so we're all going to do this together. So on 3, 2, 1, inhale, 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 exhale, fold down, and let it all go. Let's do that 2 more times, so raise back up, inhale, 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 and exhale, fold forward, sigh it out. Let's do 1 more. So inhale, 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 and exhale, fold forward and sigh it out. Coming back up to seated. How does that feel to bring some energy into your body? So we're going to start off with some gentle movements. So we're going to start off by moving the neck and warming that up a little bit. So if you start to look over to your right hand side, just looking over your shoulder and back to center, looking over your left shoulder. You really want to keep your spine nice and straight, sitting upright, shoulders back. Look through center, over to the right hand side, back through center to the left, back through center to the right. One more time, back through center to the left. And back to center. Now obviously, before we carry on, this is obviously a pre-recorded class. So please make sure that you kind of take care of your own health and do what feels best for you. Don't push yourself too much. Do what feels good and do what you feel comfortable with. Don't do anything extra that might cause harm. So just before we carry on. So let's carry on with warming up our neck. So if we slowly bring our right ear towards our right shoulder. And we're just going to gently let gravity do the work here. You're not pushing, you're not pulling. There's no tension there. You're just simply letting your head fold over to the right hand side so that your ear comes towards your shoulder. We're going to stay here for a couple more moments. And then back to center and over to the left hand side. So your left ear comes down towards your left shoulder. Again, there's no tension, you're not pulling anything. It's just gently stretching the side of your neck here. Staying here for 1 more breath. And back to center. We're also going to start by doing some yeses, looking up and down. So if you look up, and you'll feel a nice stretch down your neck and maybe down your chest. Back to center and look down. And you should start to feel a nice stretch down the back of your neck. Maybe look up. And back to looking down. And back to center. So we're now going to move on to the shoulders. So we're going to create some circles. So simply bring them up and back and round, creating circles with your shoulders. You might find it easy to lift your hands up and kind of bend your elbows and start to use your elbows as well as part of the rotations. Going backwards, and then we can start to rotate forwards. So same movement, just in reverse. Perfect. We're going to bring our right arm out and cross it over your chest, over to the left-hand side. And with your left hand, you can kind of hold onto your arm and feel a nice stretch there. So we're going to stay here for a couple of moments. Remember to breathe. You can take some deep breaths. Back to center, and the opposite arm. So your left hand comes over, crosses over the right hand side, and your right arm comes up and holds onto your left arm. Again, remember to breathe. Remember to keep your spine nice and straight. And back to center. So if we bring our arms up overhead, we're going to rotate our arms backwards. So let's create some big circles. You can do this slowly, or you can do it faster if you want to. This is your practice. You can do what feels best for you today. Let's do one more. Back up to the top, and then we're going to go forwards. So both arms come forwards. This is warming up the shoulders here. Perfect. So if we start to rotate our wrists, you can kind of gently clench your hands. You're not clenching tightly, just kind of gently close your hands and rotate your wrists outwards, just to find some movement there. And then you can rotate them either way, so going inwards. Press your fingers out, press them really, really wide, and then squeeze them really tight. Press them out really wide, squeeze them in really tight. One more time, out really wide, and then squeeze them in really tight. The last one I want to do is if you do a stop sign with your right hand, and you can slowly start to peel your fingers back with your left hand. So you're not pulling too hard, it's just to get a nice little stretch in your wrist and in your forearm. And then your fingers even. So just gently pull your fingers back, and then point your fingers forwards and down to the floor so that your palm is facing you. And you can start to pull your hand back a little bit with your left hand. Again, just to stretch your wrist a little bit here. Okay, we're going to do the same on the other hand. So stretch your left arm out, stop, and you can start to pull your fingers back with your right hand. Again, don't do anything that hurts, just do gentle movements here, gentle stretches. Your hand comes forward and down so that your palm points towards you and your fingers are pointing down, and you can start to pull your hand towards you. And release. So next thing I'd like to do is give ourselves a finger massage, because I know that when you're working with your hands, with ceramics, or even if you're working at the desk on the computer, things like that, we quite often use our hands and don't give them much love. So we're going to give ourselves a little finger massage. So all I want you to do is just to, with your right hand, just start to pinch your left hand and your left little finger. So you can kind of move your pinch up and down the finger. Just give yourself a little massage onto the ring finger. You might hear some cracks and some creaks, and that's fine. Onto the middle finger. Again, just massaging up and down, just pinching your finger. Moving on to the next one, the pointing finger. And to your thumb. And then you can squeeze your hand and maybe start to massage the inside of your left palm. Just give yourself a little bit of TLC today. It also feels nice to rub this section here, your wrist. I always feel that feels quite nice. Okay, let's do the other hand. So if we start to pinch our hand, the outside here, and you can move that onto your little finger. Just gently massaging and kind of pinching each finger, moving on to the ring finger. Just kind of bring some blood flow here and bring some attention to your fingers. Moving on to your middle finger. I feel like our fingers do so much and we don't often massage them or look after them. Moving on to the pointing finger. And onto our thumb. And then again, you can massage the inside of your palm. And then again, massaging this section here, just the wrist. I always feel that feels really nice. Perfect. How did that feel? I bet that felt nice. So I'm now going to move into some cat-cows. So if you keep your back straight for the moment, place your hands on your knees. On the inhale, we're going to curve our spine and almost lift your chest, lift your gaze and look upwards. And then on the exhale, round the spine, look down to the floor and your back is curved. So I'm going to do this a couple more times. So inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze, shoulders come back. Exhale, round your spine, look down and curve your spine, exhale. Let's do it 2 more times. So inhale, raise your chest, lift your gaze, shoulders back. Exhale, round your spine and look down. Last time, inhale, raise your chest, raise your gaze, shoulders back. Exhale, round your spine and look down. And back to neutral. So we're going to move into a gentle spinal twist. So to do this, you want to rotate on your chair. I'm going to move my chair so you can see, but you want to face the side of your chair. Hold on to the back of your chair with your hands and slowly take an inhale. And as you exhale, just turn and twist your spine gently. You really don't want to push too far with this. You really want to be gentle with yourself. But on every inhale, you can lengthen. And on the exhale, you can twist a little bit further. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. Perfect, back to center. And we're going to do the other side. So you can just rotate yourselves. I'm going to rotate my chair just so that you can see what's happening here. So same thing, you can place your hands on the back of your chair. With your inhale, you lengthen. And with the exhale, you turn and twist your spine. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, twist. Again, you might hear some cracks and some creaks, and that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you're not pushing yourself too far. You don't want to cause any damage here. Just a gentle twist of the spine. And back to center. Again, I'm just going to move my chair. So now we're going to move on to moving our legs a little bit. So if you lift your right knee up to your chest, now you have 2 options here. If you can lift it without having to hold on to it, you can do that, of course. If you do want a little bit of help, you can place your hands around your thigh and kind of lift your knee up to your chest. And when we're here, we're going to start to make some rotations with our hips. So start to move your hip and your knee out to the side, back to the middle, up, out the side and back to the middle, just to find some hip rotations here. Perfect, that foot can come back down. We're going to do the same on the left side. So kind of hold on to the back of your knee, lift your knee to your chest, out to the side, down and round, creating some circles here and some hip movement even while you're seated. This is a really great one if you spend a lot of time sitting down. You can tend to get sore hips when you do a lot of sitting. This is quite a nice one just to bring some movement to your hips. And back to center. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our feet and our legs. So if we point you might actually want to sit a little bit further forward on your chair. Again, be careful not to topple over. But if you point your right foot out in front of you, and then you can point your toes forwards and then lift your toes up to the ceiling. We're going to do this a couple of times. So point, lift your toes up, point your toes, lift your toes up. 2 more times, point, lift, point and lift. And then we can create some circles. So maybe rotate round the right hand side, so going over to the right clockwise. And then going anti-clockwise, so rotate the other direction. Perfect, and we can place that foot on the ground. We're going to do the same on the left side, so point your left toes, and then lift them up. I've got dirty feet. Point your left toes and lift them up. Point and lift your toes to the ceiling. Point your toes, lift your toes, one more time, point and lift. And then we can do the rotations again, so rotating clockwise. And then when you're ready, rotating anti-clockwise. Try and keep your spine straight here and your chest lifted. Try not to collapse too far. And we can bring that foot back to the floor. So we're going to move through chair version of Sun Salutation A. So if you're used to doing mat yoga, this might be familiar, but also slightly different. So I'm going to talk you through it. But what we're going to do is start off with our nice straight back, our nice straight spine, knees again at this 90-degree angle, and then our hands can come to our sides. So I'm going to count with our breathing as well. So I'm going to introduce inhale and exhale. Now obviously you can either go at my rhythm or you can breathe as you like. I encourage you to try and do my rhythm of breathing because it kind of goes with the movements, but obviously do what feels best for you. So we're going to start off with our hands by our sides with a nice straight spine, open chest, shoulders back. We're going to inhale, arms come up above your head, and exhale, fold forwards. Again, be careful not to topple over. We're going to inhale, straighten our back, so you can either bring your fingers to, so you can either come up onto your fingers and start to look forwards. Exhale, back down, and then we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. So your hands might come flat on the floor. You might otherwise want to have some blankets or some blocks or something to lean on if you can't get that far down, or otherwise you can even just lean on your knees if that's an option for you. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Press back up. We're going to do a cat-cow like we did earlier, so raise your chest, lift your gaze. Exhale, round your spine, look down. Back to neutral, arms go above your head on the inhale. And exhale, arms by your side. So we're going to move through that one more time. So inhale, arms come up above your head. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, so straighten your spine and look forwards. And then exhale, fold down. Again, your hands might come to the floor, your head might relax. We're going to stay here for one more moment. And then come back up. You can place your hands on your knees and bring yourself back up into seating. We're going to move through a cat-cow. So inhale, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Exhale, round your spine, look down. Back to neutral. Arms come up overhead with an inhale. And exhale, arms by your side. How did that feel? A little bit of movement there. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so next we're going to do some side stretches. So for this one, we're going to do somewhat of a goddess squat, it's called. So you want to bring your feet quite far apart. You might want to sit on the edge of your chair and very gently start to bring your left forearm to connect with your left thigh and your left knee, that area. And we're going to extend our right thumb out behind us and start to bring your right thumb up and over your head until you feel a nice stretch down your side body here. So you can straighten out your hand now, and you can either gaze at your hand, you can gaze at the ceiling, you can gaze straight ahead, or you can even gaze at the floor, wherever feels best for you. And you kind of want to reach forwards, kind of reach with your right arm as far as you can, so you start to feel a nice side stretch of your right body. Remembering to breathe. And then slowly bring your right hand back and start to bring your body back up into a neutral position. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. So start to bring your right forearm onto your right knee. Your left hand goes out behind you, and your gaze can start to follow your left thumb this time up and over. And then you can start to bring your hand out and stretch your side body. So again, you can be looking upwards, you can be looking at your hand, you can be looking straight ahead, you can be looking down. And your side stretch might look like this. It might look like this. It might look very different depending on your body, how you feel today. So everything is absolutely perfect. No matter where you are, it's perfect. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. And we're going to slowly bring our left hand back up and bring our body back up to a neutral position. Bringing our feet back together again. We're going to try boat pose. Now for anybody who's done yoga before, you might know what boat pose is. If you don't, I'm going to talk you through it, so don't worry. So we're going to do this in steps. So you might want to sit again on the edge of your chair. I'm going to start to bring our arms out in front of us. And this is step 1. You might want to stay here, or you might want to start to lift your right leg and straighten your right leg. How does that feel? Maybe that is enough. That's absolutely fine. Maybe you want to start to bring up your left leg, and this will start to use your core to keep your legs lifted and also your arms lifted. If that's too much, just keep with your right foot. And we're going to place the right foot down and then start to lift your left foot so that we have, so that we're equal on both sides. Lift your left foot. How does that feel? If you do want to start to lift your right foot, you can do so. Otherwise, just keep the left foot lifted and your right foot down. This is boat pose from a chair. Okay, placing both feet back down. Okay, so how was that? I hope that was good. Next one we're going to do is pigeon pose from a chair. So you have a couple of variations here. So if we straighten our left leg out in front of us, and then your right foot can cross over your left ankle so that your ankles are somewhat touching. This is the kind of first variation. If you want to stay here, that is absolutely perfect. The other variation is to bring your right foot up a little bit further and maybe keep it on your left thigh. The other option is to bend your left knee so that your right foot is kind of resting on your left thigh. Now, wherever you are, you can start to lean forwards. Again, don't topple over, you can hold onto your chair if you want to. But start to lean forwards and you might feel a little bit of a hip opening here. It might feel quite nice. Depending on where you are, you can kind of start to lean forwards and feel your hip opening on the right hand side. This is another great one for people who spend a lot of time sitting. So we're going to stay here for a little moment. Remember to breathe. Perfect. And back to neutral, so you can place your right foot back down. And we're going to do the same on the left side. So again, straighten your right foot out, your leg, sorry. And your left foot can cross over on your right foot, and this can be version 1. You can start to lean forward here. You might feel a little bit unstable, so see how you feel with that one. Option 2 is to bring your left foot up a little bit higher. Or option 3 is to bend your right leg and have your left ankle somewhere on your right thigh. Again, you can start to lean forwards and open up your left hip. Remember to breathe, don't push yourself too far. This shouldn't be painful. If you're in pain, please stop. We don't want anyone to be in pain here. So gently leaning forward, feeling the opening of the hip. Remembering to breathe and back to neutral. Okay, so the next seated pose, we're going to try eagle pose. Now there's a couple of variations again. So we're going to start off with bringing our right knee over our left knee. Now legs can stay here, or if you can, or if you want to, you don't have to, even if you can start to twist your foot around your leg. Now I know this isn't accessible to everybody, so we'll start off with just here. If you want to do that, you can do, otherwise I'll be doing this pose. And then with your arms, you have 2 options as well. So you can start to bring your right arm above your left arm and give yourself a big, big squeeze. And this is option 1. Option 2 is to bring your right hand above your left hand and come into eagle pose hands. So again, this is kind of the advanced version. The other option is just to bring your right elbow above your left elbow and be somewhere here. That's absolutely perfect. The thing you want to do here is to feel a stretch in your back, your upper back, sorry, here with your shoulder blades. So you kind of want to open up the shoulder blades there. If you are in eagle pose like this, you can start to lean forwards for a little bit more of a stretch. Even if you're hugging yourself, you can lean forwards. And start to feel a nice stretch in the top of your back. Perfect, and we're going to do the same on the other side, so bring your feet back to neutral, and your left foot is going to cross over your right leg. Again, if you want to tuck your leg behind, your foot behind, you can do so, otherwise I'm going to stay here. So you're going to bring your left arm this time over the top of your right arm, and you can either give yourself a big hug and squeeze and then fold forwards like we were doing on the other side, or you can do the eagle arms. Either this is perfect, and I know this isn't accessible to everybody, so wherever you're at is absolutely perfect. Do whatever feels best, and then maybe start to lean forwards to feel a little bit more of a stretch in your upper back. Again, remembering to breathe, making sure you're not in any pain. Perfect, and back to neutral. So the next couple of poses, I want to do a couple of standing poses. Now, obviously with this, you're going to need a chair that doesn't roll. So if you have a rolling chair, please don't do this. I also recommend you place the chair either against a wall or against a desk or a table, somewhere where it's not going to move if you apply any pressure. I don't want any of you sliding everywhere. So the first thing we're going to do is tree pose. So once you have your chair placed somewhere safely that it's not going to move, we're going to start with tree pose. So if you start with your feet hips distance apart, I'm going to start by raising our right foot, and you can either do chair pose like this, by the way, at the side, or you can hold on with both hands if that's something you want to do, and do it that way. I'm going to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. So you can start to bring your right foot up and start to bring the weight into your left foot, and your right foot can either meet your left ankle. Maybe you want to bring your right foot up to your left calf, or you could even bring your right foot up to your left inner thigh if that's accessible to you. So wherever you are is absolutely perfect. And you might be able to feel your right hip opening. Again, you can hold onto the chair on both hands if that's something you want to do. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of moments. It's a little bit of a balancing pose. You kind of want to keep your back straight, keep your chest lifted, your shoulders back, and try and be as straight as possible. And how does this feel to stand on one leg? I'm going to stay here for one more moment. Perfect. So you can slowly bring your foot back to the floor. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. Again, you could change sides. I'm just going to stay like this. It's fine for me. So I'm going to start to bring the weight onto your right foot. And again, your left foot can either meet your right ankle, so you can stay here. Your left foot can come to your right calf, or your left foot can come to your right inner thigh. Again, anywhere is perfect. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. This is your yoga practice. And again, you might start to feel your left hip opening. You might feel a slight stretch there. Try and feel elongated, as if somebody's pulling. Have you ever heard that word, pulling a string from the top of your head? I feel like ballet teachers say that to children when they're young. But you just kind of want to keep a nice straight spine and a straight body. Again, remembering to breathe. Make sure you don't hurt yourselves, don't fall over. And back to neutral, so slowly bring that foot back down. You can shake your legs out. Good. Okay, so the next one I wanted to do is a downward facing dog while standing using a chair. So I know that downward facing dog is quite a hard pose to do on mat yoga for a lot of people. So this is something that you can do from, hopefully from anywhere with just a chair, and not feel, I don't know, not feel like you're gonna fall over. I recommend not wearing socks. You don't want to slide as well, so make sure that you're either barefoot or you have some good shoes on. So for downward facing dog, all we do is place our hands on the chair. Now I do want something kind of this height. Anything too low down might be too hard, anything too high wouldn't be great either. So you kind of want it maybe hip or waist height, I think is good. We're going to slowly start to move our steps back, so stepping back. And you really want to keep your arms straight and your legs somewhat straight. You can have a slight bend in your knees. And you just start to bend forwards into a chair version of downward facing dog. So this is going to strengthen your spine, lengthen your hamstrings, Maybe even open your shoulders. There's lots of different benefits to doing this pose. So you can either keep your legs straight and your arms straight, or you can bend them. Just find some variation that works for you. Again, you don't have to be all the way back here. You can be closer and bend forward like this. Wherever you are, just kind of play about and see what feels best for you. So we're going to stay here for a couple more seconds. Remembering to breathe. Your gaze is down, relax your neck, relax your mouth. When you feel ready, we're going to slowly come back up. So start to straighten your spine and step closer to your chair. Be careful of dizziness, maybe hold on to the chair until you feel okay. The next one we're going to do is warrior two position using the chair. So keeping our feet hips distance apart, we're going to start to move the weight onto our left foot, and you might want to step your right foot back behind you. So keeping your right foot parallel to the chair and your left foot where it was, you can start to bend your left knee, and you can hold onto the chair here so you have support. And this is warrior two. You really want to keep your chest open, keep your hips open, and you can start to move your right foot back further if you want to, if you feel safe to. Otherwise, keep it where it is. And you can stay here. You can bring your right hand onto your hips. If you feel safe and steady, you could also extend both arms out. So your right hand comes out behind you and your left hand comes out in front of you. And this is your warrior two. If you want to hold onto the chair, you can absolutely do so. If you want to keep your hand on your hip, you can do so. This is just quite a nice pose to feel strong and powerful, and also feel a nice stretch. Okay, let's do that on the other side. So straighten your left leg and maybe start to bring your right foot back until it meets your left foot at the front. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. I'm going to move this around so I can show you this way. So if we're standing at the top next to our chair, we keep our right foot where it is, and this time we step our left foot back, keeping our left foot parallel with the chair. I'm going to move my foot forwards a little bit. Start to bend your right knee and keeping your chest and your hips open. You can hold on to the chair, you can place your left hand on your left hip. If you feel steady and if you want to, you can start to bring your arms out. So your right arm in front of you and your left arm out behind you, and this is warrior two. Again, if you did want to hold on to the chair for stability, if you want to bring your leg closer, maybe keep your left hand on your hip, you can do all of this. This is your practice. You just want to find something today that feels good, that feels powerful, that feels like you're moving. Perfect. So now we're going to slowly bring our foot back. So if you slowly start to step your left foot back until it meets your right foot at the top of the mat, I want to say, by the chair. Perfect. I'm going to place this back here. I'm going to do one more standing pose and then we'll sit down again. So now we're going to move into some side bends. So if you hold on to your chair with your feet hips distance apart, maybe a little bit wider for this one so you have a little bit more stability. And we're going to I'm going to step back a little bit further. So hold onto the chair with your left hand, and with your right arm, start to raise your right arm up over your head and start to reach over to the left hand side. So you should feel a nice stretch down the left hand side of your body. Again, stay holding onto the chair for stability. You could be anywhere, you could be here and that's perfect. You could be all the way down here and that's perfect. Wherever you are, just try and keep strong legs and feel a nice stretch in your side body. Again, don't compare yourself to anybody else. It's not a competition. And when you feel ready, we'll come back to center and do the same on the opposite side. So you can turn round. I'm just going to place the chair this side. So holding onto the chair with your right hand this time, your left hand down by your side. You can start to bring your left hand up and overhead and stretch over to the right hand side. So you get a nice side stretch in your left side body. Remembering to breathe, doing what feels best for you today. Feeling strong, holding onto the chair for stability. And back to center, back to neutral. And we're going to sit back down again. So you can take your chair and sit back down. Now we're going to move through some cat-cows again, like we did at the beginning of the practice. So have your feet hips distance apart, your hands on your knees. We're going to do, let's do 3 cat-cows. So inhale, lift your chest, raise your gaze, shoulders back, looking up. Exhale, round your spine and look down. Let's do 2 more. So inhale, raise your gaze, look up. Exhale, curve your spine, look down. Last one. Inhale, raise your gaze, raise your chest, shoulders back. And exhale, round your spine, look down. And back to neutral. We're going to do a slight chest opener here. So I'm going to sit sideways on my chair, but you can stay exactly where you are. You might want to sit a little bit further to the edge of your chair just so you have a little bit more space. And we're going to bring our hands behind our backs and interlace our fingers. And you kind of want to do 2 movements here. So bring your hands down as you lift your chest. So this is a really nice chest opener. So you kind of want to pull your hands down away from your body as you lift your chest and lift your gaze. The other option, if this feels too much, is to place your hands on your lower back and just lift your gaze, lift your chest this way. There should be a nice chest opener, heart opener. Perfect, and back to neutral. Now let's do a big stretch. So stretch your arms up above your head. Maybe even stretch your legs out. Oh, kick your legs, wiggle your fingers, do what feels good. Nice stretch, and back to center. So I really want to end today's practice with a little bit of a breathing exercise. So I'm going to count 4. So we're going to inhale 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold for 4. If you want to skip this, by all means skip it, but let's try it. So you can sit back on your chair if you want to relax a little bit more, if you want to feel relaxed as we do this, or you can stay with your spine straight and chest lifted. I'm actually going to lean back for this one. So we're going to take a breath and start to kind of empty our mind a little bit. Let's start to relax. And we're going to empty our breath. And then inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. And hold, 3, 2, 1. And back to your regular breathing. Now this technique is something you can try anytime basically. It's a nice calming breathing technique. So if you struggle to sleep at night, you could try this. If you've had a stressful day at work, you could try this. It's just a really nice grounding breathing exercise. So I really hope that helped kind of bring you back into the present moment, connect you back to your breath. So that's it for this class. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure you give it a big thumbs up down below. That really honestly does help me out. Make sure you subscribe for more videos. I'm releasing new yoga classes every single Monday, so you can stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Thank you so much for watching. Have a brilliant day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.